right, hello everyone. So first and foremost, thank you to Templar Knights for letting me jump in and help out today and also jump in with the layout. I do have a new mic. Tell me what you guys think. I'm trying to test some things out. Also have a new camera, so tell me what you guys think as well. And yeah, so what I wanted to do is, since we're not playing the event, or I'm not playing at least, we'll do the usual layout breakdown. So I know that the MVPS, MXL, and the NXL are all using the same layout, so hopefully this is something that helps you guys out. But yeah, let me flip this thing around and we'll talk through, we'll go snake side, the center, and then Dorito side, and talk about some possible bounce shots that we saw that worked pretty well. There's probably some other ones, but I did want to get this out for you guys. Let's go ahead and, so this lane off the break here, so we're gonna start from the home and go out to the snakeway. You do have a little bit of a shot going into that can, and also if they try to go into that wedge. Now you do completely miss that on the outside. So if they do go super wide, you're not gonna be able to see that. So this is not the bunker that you want to have to actually slow down the snake, because you really can't do anything. So coming out over here we'll go to the can first, we'll go down the tapes, and then I'll go into the middle. So you are able to shoot into your mirror and a little bit into the snake one, which we're gonna call that the snake one. So the snake one, if they hug that beam, I think that they'll probably be okay, but at least if you're shooting into that gap, you'll be able to go ahead and slow them down. And of course, shooting into here, and then if you wrap, you do have a drop shot into the home, as well as into that tower, and of course, you can wrap more. So just kind of sitting there, you can do some control from here. If they get into the snake, you really can't do a whole lot. So they can get up into that 50 snake, and you really can't do anything until they're there, and then they try to battle you. When you actually come over, the Dorito way, you do have a shot into that Dorito gap, but it's not gonna be fantastic. It's something that you might be able to help out a teammate, but it's not something that is gonna be like super amazing or anything like that. Coming into the God, you're blocked out into the inside, but you can stand up, like you can see there, and shoot into that gap. Now this was something that was good, was that you can shoot into your mirror, and then you're able to go over into the snake if you need to. Now, of course, when you wrap, you can check off that inside before you commit. Now, when you actually get into the snake, and I'm gonna get down here too. So with the snake itself, this is pretty useless to shoot down the wire, because they have options to move. If you do come here and you want to have someone here, you can have it where they can shoot into that gap and really slow down that Dorito side. But something that I found is if you stay real low, and I'm gonna come here, I literally came down, put my gut down, just laid as flat as possible. You can actually come up into the snake and then come around and continue to move up. Because the inside shot here is not fantastic. I mean, you can shoot into into that Dorito 4 if there's someone in the brick, but it's one of those things that it's not amazing. So I don't know that I would really want to stay here. What I found was that if you come around and just stay low, you can actually crawl all the way up. All right, so I had to get off the field because some people were playing. But yeah, something that I noticed that was really helpful for my my snake guys. So even if the can is shooting at you, and well, actually, I guess it depends on the how tall the can actually is, and this wedge. If you, I just got real low, and you can have it where just make sure you don't have those extra pods in the middle, and you can just crawl all the way up. So I actually had it where I heard them, so I was waiting, and then when I tried to continue to move up, that's when they ran me down. But so be it, right? That's practice. Now, something that was good with this spot is at least you can shoot into that that can and into the tower, and then also into the middle. I'm not a huge fan of this bunker, just because if you're here, now you have to contain or have to deal with the can as well as that wedge. So it's not gonna be as, my opinion, not gonna be as helpful. So, you know, coming here, it's gonna be one of those things that maybe you need to come here to help someone out, or you're trying to hold a gap because someone else can't. But yeah, but something to think about when you come here as well is this pin. So the the Dorito, and when I get over there, I'll show you. The Dorito can bounce off that pin, actually. Sorry, they can bounce off that pin into this guy. So that's another thing that you're kind of in like a no man's land with that. But coming here, the wedge can actually wrap and shoot this pin, and it was bouncing in pretty good. And also the Dorito was bouncing. It wasn't as consistent, but it can bounce into this zone. So it's gonna at least push you to the outside, but you can also use this little nipple thing to shoot at these guys in the middle. So just something you want to be crafty, try to think about what it is that you're doing, maybe even do the pod trick. Come here, throw the pod, and then wait for someone, have it hit here, kick that on the way, I don't know, something. So just something to think about. So let's get to the middle of the field. Coming up this way also, if you're tall enough, you do have some shots going into the snake. It's not going to be as good, but there was a guy playing with us today from Templar that was able to kind of stand up on his tippy toes and shoot down. So at least you can keep them honest or shoot into that gap. It's just not going to be as good because once they put you in, it's not like you can really roll off and shoot that. But what I did like with this bunker is on the way up, shooting into this zone and into the Dorito and seeing how far it is that they go. Do they go deeper? Do they go more shallow? Do they go up into the middle? Because if they go into the middle, you have some options that you can go and contain them. Something else that I saw, gunning up to here, and then I ran out into that God bunker and I made it completely clean. So just something to think about with that. But let's continue over here. So walking up into this wedge, this is something that my back center players really need to think about as well. So what I did was shoot at, there was a can and a home in this one situation. I stood up over the top and shot into, like a blind shot into the home there, and then also you can shoot into the can. So I shot into there, eliminated that player, and then shot into the can, and we were able to clear out that those two players. So it's one of those things that, yeah, let's try these blinds, and just guys, if you hear someone goes up into this wedge and you're at the back center, just know that they do have a shot going into you, which means that that home has the same shot back. So it isn't like you only have that going there. Something else is when you are here, there was a point that they didn't go wide into the snake. So you can sit here and shoot into this gap and stop them from going into the snake. So shoot into the God, or at least see that they go in. Again, it's not necessarily bad if they make it into the snake. It's bad if they make it there and then no one knows that they got in there. So, you know, shooting the heads up, you can contain this and then still roll off and pull back and shoot. If they start shooting at you, you can pull back and shoot into that God bunker, and have it where they either have to go super deep, which means that then you can pull off and shoot into that little section right there between the pin, the snake 2, and right into the middle of the snake 1. So you do have that option as well. Of course, wrapping is another thing that if you're trying to close it out, you do have a wrap shot into here. The only issue is this kind of no man's land. So what I had done on one of the points was coming around, I guess we can really test out the wind now too, coming up into this wedge. Now this was something that I remember when we had talked about initially on the layout breakdown, this wedge being kind of a decision point of what side you wanted to go to. I do like this brick. I'm gonna get to that in a second, but you are able to help out your Dorito side. Just know that the 50 snake can come in, and if you're not tight, they're gonna shoot you. So you really have to make sure that that 50 snake, if you're pushed into this, they're not gonna be able to shoot you. So if you push all the way in, you're gonna be protected. And especially if you're playing over here. So like this. That was weird, but if you're pushed in, you're gonna be able to be protected from that snake and then still be able to help out your Dorito side. Now, it's not gonna be as comfortable, but if they have a quick snake player that gets there, then they do have that. But again, if they do have a 50 snake and they are shooting at you, someone can come up into this wedge, wrap, shoot that pin, and it bounced pretty hard into that 50 snake. So it might be enough that it's able to really slow that player down or eliminate them. Coming up to the middle, I didn't really have issues getting up to the brick, and I'll get to that brick in a second. This one I played a couple times. Of course, coming up here, you can really shut down the snake. There's probably a bounce off this pin. We didn't try it, but off that can probably here, it's probably going to be enough that it would skim in, or maybe off that pin. But I wonder if actually you can shoot off that god into there as well. But basically you can shoot both sides, contain that player. Even if they do start shooting the bounce, if you stand up real quick and shoot, you still have a huge bunker that you can go down, you can go up. You're able to shoot into those different zones there. If you wanted to, you can always come here. There is no bounce shot that's going to come in. I don't think anything is going to bounce off there into you, and you're really able to help out your Dorito side. The issue is that if there is someone in this wedge, this tall wedge, they can come to the inside and come and trade with you, but it's just going to happen. Welcome to playing the center. But if you are here and you get here with no one able to see you, you can catch a lot of players as they go out. So if they try to go out deep or come up into the Doritos, then you're able to do a lot of damage there. So when I got up into this, something that I did was actually post snake way. And the first time that I did it, the player was quick enough to get into the snake and got into that snake 3, that green and black bunker. So that's something that they were able to eliminate me there. What I did to fix that is if you come up and just know that they're probably there, and you come up and just make sure, you know, it's better to check off and make sure, and then you can kind of come around and come around and come around and see. And then there was a player that got into the snake, and then I was able to eliminate them after that. But you have a big gap that you can sit there and just be pumping, or you can bait them to go through. The other good thing is that you can help out your Dorito side, same thing. So you could even have it where the bricks can go ahead and switch, because this guy can now switch and shoot into this gap. And again, you're gonna be able to see them try to book out. You have a little bit better of a shot for that deep shot than the other brick, but if they try to come up here, you're able to shoot them there as well. So the other thing was shooting straight back at the back center, and you can wrap this shot as well. Now this was one that I really liked, was taking a step here and shooting straight into that snake gap. So having someone here shooting back at their other team's back center allows you to sit here a little bit longer. Now I wouldn't do this if you're not comfortable with that whole dancing, is what I call it. So you are gonna have to move back and forth. You might have to dive back into the home, dive out quick, but you have to watch the back center to see what it is that they're doing. If they look like they're going to be shooting wider or shooting snake side, you know you might have a little bit longer or a little bit shorter to shoot that gap. But at least you have eyes to see if they made it into the snake. But coming out, something that I saw was coming up, shooting back at the back center, and then you do have this shot coming up into here. And this allows you to at least check off the middle, and then you can help out your Dorito side. So you can shoot here, and then what I did was wrap, check off this side, and then you can commit straight into that brick, and then you can do the assistance there with that brick. So the other thing was coming out to here. I didn't really get a lot of heat. I think that this shot through here from this back center, people are going to start dialing that in. So it might be that you have to dive real low and you're giving up that lane. So you'll have to play that by ear, but I think there's gonna be a lot of audibles on this field. The inside shots are pretty useless here. You do have a little bit of a drop into that snake 3. You see that black and green bunker, but it's not like it's super amazing or anything like that. You can shoot the pin and maybe skip it in. That could be something that you guys would wanna try. If you're stuck here and there's someone shooting off the other side, you know, like that's just an option that you have. You're not really gonna be able to help out your Dorito side as much. So I would use this more as a transition to move up or out into here. Now from here, the only issue is if you try to help out your Dorito and they're wide, you can't do anything. But at least if they're kind of stuck in the Dorito 1, and then that other bigger Dorito, which would be the 3, I guess, if you're zigzagging. We'll just say the second big Dorito right there. They can still crawl up, but at least you're gonna be able to see, did they shoot through that gap? Maybe you can drop in some paint, you know, just different things, or start wrapping and shoot into the middle and help out your front player. But this inside shot here, you do have on that snake. So if they haven't gotten into the snake, you don't have someone up in the middle. This is something that can hold that gap and at least see, again, did that guy make it into the snake? If he did, just push in. It's something that it's not necessarily a bad thing if they get into the snake. It's bad if they get in and no one knows. Moving down this Dorito side, there were some shots that I liked and then some that I didn't. So of course, you know, that's just paintball, right? But shooting heads up, there were some guys that were able to, you can shoot this gap, of course, so if you get dominant, then you can hold your player, which might allow your other guy from here to move up into further up down the field. And then you also have the shot here, if they get into the 50 snake, that will bounce off that pin and go into there. It's not fantastic, but it's something. So if you're here and you get a really fast snake player that goes in, it's something that you can shoot. It'll maybe bounce in enough that it freaks them out, or they go into a ball. Sometimes you get lucky, but at least you can keep pressure. Now, when you're going through here, this gap is huge. So you really have to commit and really think about, you know, what is it that you're going to be able to be most effective. I'm not a huge fan of coming to a little Dorito, but the thing with the little Dorito is that you have this big Dorito blocking you. So you can actually wrap, shoot into both of these towers and into the home. Might be able to catch someone. So it's something like that. If you come here and then you crawl up, other than the tower and the snake and that brick, you can come up into this bigger Dorito, and then now you can battle a little bit easier. Coming across here, someone caught me, and I didn't realize that this shot was there, but it was good. This snake shoots through here. So I actually tried to just dive across, and they shot me coming through this, and it's a tiny gap. So just something to think about, like if you're going to check off that snake and then go. So it's something that you do want to think about. Another thing with this Dorito is, this is the one that I was telling you about, that if they get into the snake 3, that green, the little wing, bounce it off that pin, and it's enough that it's going to freak them out, so they have to lay down or have to do something. So you might push them into someone else's gun. Of course, you do have a shot into the God and into that stand-up wedge, but something that I found was if you get real low and wrap, you can go ahead and block yourself out from the Dorito corner and shoot into that tower, and then commit through if you need to go and shoot the other tower. But that closer one is the one that's really gonna shoot you through here. So it's just something, if this other Dorito knows that you're trying to do that, they can stand up and shoot down. So just know that you do have that. Coming up into here, I didn't play this at all, actually. I didn't really have no, maybe there was one, but this is something that you could use as like a transition. It's not something that we were like, oh, let's try this off the break or whatever. I guess you could crawl the inside to block out some people to come here to wrap, but if they're wide, you're giving up a shot here that they could stand up and drop in on you. What I did do was actually come to this 50 here, and this 50, I was able to wrap, and you can start to clear out some players here. So that's so. Also, guys, just a quick little plug. The new jerseys are on the site, so they're only going to be on the site for another like 2 weeks. So go to ruthlesspaintballproducts.com, and you can pick either, this is the bruiser, so it's kind of like a hockey style, and then you also have the luau, which is, or I'm sorry, not the luau. It's not the luau. I said I was having a luau on one of the other ones. The vice is the other one. So you have the vice or the bruiser. Vice is kind of like a Miami kind of Hawaiian shirt looking one. So you can pick either the base model or the breeze. Breeze is going to have those reinforced elbows and those thumb loops, so that way you're going to be able to have a longer lasting jersey. But if you're just looking for something, you can just go and get the base model. I really hope that this wind is not killing things right now. So yeah, we'll see, I guess, when I get to edit this. But yeah, tell me what you guys think down in the comments down below. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing. And if you haven't yet, there's a lot of you guys that just watch and don't subscribe. Can you just click the subscribe, just real quick. So I will see you all whenever I see you. I'll have some other drill videos coming out in a little bit. Of course, I'll have some playing videos from this layout. I'll put those out in a little bit. And if you guys would like to see a self-playing critique, go ahead and put that in the comments down below. But thank you. And as always, remember, watch, learn, win. Thanks.